Creamer.
Ooh.
That's a spot.
Ooh, that's good stuff.
Shouts to the ghost of Jan if you can hear me right now, which I think you can.
Okay, that looks good. Where's my... I'm not going to touch that. Let's just move it over. Ooh, that looks good. Okay. All right. Sean, you good to get started?
I think, let me see. I think I might need to do the tweet, so hang on a sec.
Yep, no problem. Cruising. Okay, Lewis Hamilton's coming to Fortnite. He drive car good. My understanding is Lewis Hamilton drive car good. That's what I know about him, and that's about it. I could get an F1 probably. He's an F1 driver, right? Lewis Hamilton? I think he probably is.
If you're asking me, I have no idea.
I'm asking the universe.
You're asking the wrong person.
Okay. Nikki says they'll teach me about F1 next month. Okay, sounds good. I've seen Lewis Hamilton on the cover of video games, I believe. Or maybe on the title screen of an F1 game.
I was going to say, is it an F1 game?
Yes.
That would answer the question, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, it was Barbie's Horse Adventures. It was really weird.
Speaking of Jan, I got to steal his bed. I'm dry as hell. Would you believe it? Wisconsin, very cold and dry.
Yeah, I got a warning just before, like just a couple minutes ago, saying that today's going to be especially dry to the point where we're going to have a fire warning. Like it's
a fire warning in November.
Yeah, like bad signs of like everything pointing towards if a spark happens, the whole city's going to burn down. It's like, okay, cool.
Oh well, I mean, it's about time. But
yeah, we're overdue for sure. All right. Check out Drive to Survive. That's what everyone says that's the great way to get onto F1. I have been curious about that. But who has the time for television programs when there's video games to catch up on? Okay, I think we are good to get started. Sean, if I count us in, you good?
Sure, I'll just say I saw Nikki in the chat. Nikki, if you could get the tweet, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
And I am going to say, Jan, if you want to go to YouTube, let's do it. Let's go to YouTube. I am going to fade us to black here in a second and count us in, make sure that we're good there. There's that. All right. Here we go. Starting in 5, 4, 3.
Yummy like a gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for November 15th, 2023. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, reviews are in for Nintendo's next big game, and we have the October sales results from the United States. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host of Game Mess Mornings. It's Sean, TurboShawn McDowell. Sean, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing this morning, Jeff?
I'm getting there. I'm okay. Wednesdays are a weird one because only one kid goes to school, so I've been walking in the morning, but I feel bad. I can't I'll just let Steph work and take care of the kid at the same time when I can come home and help with that. So I don't do my walks on Wednesday morning. So now it's beginning to throw me off because I'm really enjoying that.
Yeah, it's part of the routine now, ain't it?
Yeah, part of the routine. So yeah, it's like, okay, what else can I do here to kind of get the hang of things? And then I'm like, I'll work out, and then I just didn't do that. I played Resident Evil 4, and I helped Addie play some Piku Niku, which is a game she's still super into.
That's a good morning right there.
Yeah, if anyone's got any Piku Niku merch or any point me to some Piku Niku merch. I've been told that that's what she wants for Christmas are some Piku Niku
Isn't that just like
stuffed
a bird?
Animals. It's little red balls with legs and black meepy eyes. That's a big thing with the meeps, is they have black eyes.
I see. Yeah, little lobster eyes.
Lobster eyes, yeah, for sure. I don't know, but how about you? You getting through this week all right?
Yeah, busy as I usually am. No time to play anything. The games, they just keep coming. They don't stop coming.
They don't stop coming.
Yeah, been finishing up Mario Wonder. I mentioned to you the other day. I'm not quite there yet. I'm at the end. I think I'm at the end. I got the final Wonder Seed, so probably gonna wrap that up soon. Checking out a bunch of our stuff. I fired up Star Ocean to check that out. That's a pretty game, Jeff.
Yes.
Well,
I'm not like especially from that time period, a JRPG guy, but I like looking at that game a whole bunch. I think they did a really good job with updating the visuals for that.
Yeah, and then playing some MW3, getting ready for a certain song we got later in the week,
That's right. Yep, looking forward to that. I need to, I have it installed now. I need to just boot it up, make sure I'm good to go, and have all the microtransactions purchased that I need to purchase. Get that taken care of. But we're doing that on
pink shirt. You got a pink shirt, Jeff?
Yeah, I could probably dress up in a themed way for sure. Yeah.
Okay. You think Backlar's got a pink shirt?
I think he's got almost nothing but pink shirts. Everything he wears is just that's a work for shoot.
It's a facade.
Yes, the facade. Yes, he's shoot pink for sure. All right, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings, or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Super Mario RPG Review Roundup. Kind of can't even say that name anymore without wanting to sing the song.
Super Mario RPG. Yeah, same.
It's got an 83 on Metacritic. That could have changed since I did this, but right now, 83 on Metacritic. GameSpot gave it an 8 out of 10. Stephen Petit writes, in fact, it's misleading to refer to Super Mario RPG as a remake, especially in a year where numerous remakes, such as Resident Evil 4 and Dead Space, have retooled beloved classics for modern sensibilities. Heck, I'd even say Super Mario RPG is closer to Metroid Prime Remastered. Yes, the graphics here were fully remade. This isn't a touch-up. It's a complete glow-up for contemporary eyes, but everything that gave the Super Nintendo game its identity is present. Outside of a few minor quality-of-life improvements, Super Mario RPG is mostly a remastered product of its time, and an utterly fascinating one at that. With its heartfelt humor, standout personalities, satisfyingly straightforward combat, and an expeditious mindset devoid of the bloat that regularly plagues modern RPGs, Super Mario RPG is timeless. Sean, I was kind of expecting exactly this. I think we kind of get weird with like remakes and remasters all the time, and I think what was it? Was Crisis Core? One of these remakes recently was like, oh, it's a remake. It's like, they just kind of swapped out the graphics and it's still that game. And I'm like, that's what they did here, and that's what I was expecting. And I'm okay with that as someone who plays Super Mario RPG like once a year. How about you?
Right. I mean, this is what we used to refer to as a remake.
Yes,
like, it was literally
yes, you're right.
The game, you just remade it again, and it looks better. Maybe it has some controls different. Maybe you have some quality of life changes, but otherwise, this is what a remake has always been. And then, FF7 remake and stuff similar to that, which are reimaginings more than remakes, sort of took that moniker. And this is what people should expect out of a remake. And I'm happy because it's just a more modern way of playing the game. It's more accessible, especially since, God knows they're not putting that old one on NSO anytime soon. So yeah, I think this is great. And I'm looking forward to playing it this way. I definitely wanted to check out the original before going into this, but like I mentioned, million games this year, just no damn time. So I'm excited to just hop into this one right away at the end of the week.
Yeah, same. I've been waiting for this one. I love this game. I think it looks really good. It's not one of those ones where, like Link's Awakening, so close to my heart. It's like any little change there. And I think those graphics did change up the tone a little bit of Link's Awakening. I came around on it eventually, and I'm like, you know what? It is still kind of in that same vein mostly. And sure, it's not quite as eerie as the Game Boy one was, but whatever. I'm really happy with the Link's Awakening remake. Here, it's just like, no, that looks like that game. Updated, and that's it. Now there are some changes in terms of character models, but for the most part it feels just kind of updated. And if the rest of it is just Super Mario RPG, I'm going to be very happy with it. Silicon Eric gave it a 9 out of 10. Brent Kep said Super Mario RPG breathes new life into an SNES classic, allowing players to re-experience one of Mario's most unique and adventurous titles on the Switch. And then Inverse gave it a 7 out of 10. Hayes Madsen said Nintendo's newly released remake is more of a one-to-one remaster than a true remake. There's nothing inherently wrong with this new version of Super Mario RPG, but some of the game's design flaws and problems are more apparent. While the brilliance of the original still shines through, I continuously found myself wishing more was changed and reimagined. the things that I was kind of hoping would get reimagined, like the timing of the combat, that's the stuff that does sound like they did improve here. So I think, again, I'm probably going to be mostly
Was it wonky in the original?
It was,
I don't know if I mentioned it. I never played the original before.
They did that. That's the one that like really came out with that, hey, timed button presses during your attacks. And in the Super Nintendo one, they didn't do a lot to convey when exactly that timing should happen. And even when you did it right, the feedback was like, well, I don't even know why that was correct. And so I think they're doing a lot more here to improve that, although I'll see for myself here later this week, and maybe it's not as good as they were purporting it to be. So yeah. And then, there were some other changes where if you do get the timing perfect or whatever, it hits all the enemies, things like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So it's not quite as clear as it was in later games like Paper Mario, Mario & Luigi.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It was just, I think it came down to, they were really limited on how much animation they could put in a game like that back on the Super Nintendo. That cartridge was already super big in terms of the amount of space they had to store that game on. They probably ran out of space for extra animations to inform the player when that was the right time to attack.
Sure.
So, what is your...
say,
go ahead, please.
Before we move on from Super Mario RPG, I did put a link in the chat that when Jeff is done talking to the gimmicks, I would think he would appreciate checking out. But yeah, I don't know, like the comments about this being a 1-to-1 remaster and comparing it to Metroid Prime remaster, I find that interesting because in my head, neither of those are remasters, because in my head, remasters, like I still think of like Final Fantasy X-10-2 on the PS4.
Yeah,
it's basically an emulated PS2 game with updated textures. Like it's a port, it is a remastering, but yeah, that's why I think of a remaster nowadays, just because that term has been so changed. I don't know. We'll see.
Yep. Well, I think as much as I have to play, I've been looking forward to this so much. I will be putting a few things aside to get right in there and see it myself. And then, yeah, I'm not like when you're playing the game, these definitions of remaster, remake sort of fade in the background. When you're purchasing a game, I see why they become front of mind. You're like, hey, this is a $60 game. What am I getting here? Is this something that they really...
Because it is the same content, effectively. So
exactly.
But you're paying for the graphics, kind of.
I think the good news for anyone who hasn't played it before, the content is very good. The characters are very sweet. There's a lot of great characterization. You're going to... The relationship between Peach and Bowser and Mario is really well explored here. There's just a ton of fun stuff. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
Check out this link real quick that I put here in the text chat for this channel. I think you appreciate this.
All right, let's see here. Is there anything in that text chat that will be bad if it gets seen on stream?
No, because I know you keep leaking that. No, you're good.
Yes, exactly. All right, let's see here. Here's the whole Mario RPG pamphlet ad that's available around Japan. Yeah, man, this is cool stuff.
Yeah,
I wish we had this.
Yeah, so what this is, everybody, is oh, that's Raspberry. Maddie posted this on Twitter. She lives over in Japan, and they recreated the original manual for the Super Nintendo game is what that is. And that's now like a pamphlet that you can get around Japan in various stores. Like back in the day, we used to get, like you go to Walmart or Kmart or whatever, you get that little pamphlet that's like, here's what the GameCube is all about. Here's what the Game Boy Advance is all about. They basically did one of these, but it's just the manual again. And I think that's really cool since games don't really come with manuals anymore.
Yep, definitely. I think...
look at that.
It just happened recently. I think Steph opened up a game and that I had physically, and there was like nothing inside. She said, "What the hell is this? Why is there like where's the manual?" I'm like, "Yep, that's changed."
If you scroll down like 2 tweets, you can see a direct 1-to-1 comparison to the original for the video.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, there it is.
God, I love that. Man, Super RPG is so cool. Can't wait for everybody to meet Gino and Mallow. Those are the real homies, and this game will definitely make you fall in love with both those characters.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's see here. We have the October 2023 Circana Gaming Sales Report. This is from Matt Piscatella, who works at Circana, and he posted all of this on Twitter. For the October 2023 U.S. video game market highlights from Circana, U.S. consumer spending on video game content, hardware, and accessories fell 5% versus last year to $4 billion. Declines were experienced across all categories of spending. The dip was partially driven by Call of Duty shifting release months. Obviously, it came out in October last year and shifted into this November timeframe this year. Overall, though, it seems like October pretty strong. New game releases for the month. Let's see, Spider-Man 2 was number 1. Super Mario Brothers Wonder was number 2. That doesn't include digital sales, though. And Assassin's Creed Mirage was number 3. Then you have the perennial hits of Madden, of FIFA, now called Football Club 2020 or 2024, and Mortal Kombat 1, taking up the fourth, fifth, and sixth spot, and then UFC 5 and NHL 24, and Sonic Superstars rounding out the top 9, and those all 3 of those are also new to the charts this month. Number 12 was Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, and number 17, Forza Motorsport, and number 20, Lords of the Fallen, and that doesn't include digital sales as well. That's a big release month, so it's maybe a little bit surprising it's not able to keep up with last year, but Call of Duty is just such a juggernaut in terms of sales. If it is in 1 month last year and not this year, that's going to be the ball game right there.
It's still the best-selling game of our year, right?
Yes, exactly. And it will be this year, even though it's going to slide compared to Call of Duty last year. It still should be the number 1 best-selling game in the United States this year. Yeah. We do have the best-selling games of the year so far. Let's see here. Hogwarts Legacy still number 1. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom number 2 without digital sales. Spider-Man 2 immediately jumped to number 4, right behind Madden. And Mario Wonder not on this list, but remember it doesn't include digital. I think someone asked Matt Piscatella, and I think he said it's like number 21. It's just outside of the top 20, and it's going to probably be in there pretty soon. And again, no digital sales included there, and that game will sell for forever. Are you a little surprised that Wonder's not in the top 20 even without digital sales?
I'm not super surprised at this if it's just physical, because a lot of people on the Switch are going all digital nowadays. So I think a good chunk of people probably picked that game up digitally. I think I looked at Marvel Spider-Man 2 immediately going into 4th place there. And I'm like, yeah, that checks out, because the first one sold like gangbusters right out the bat too.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah.
This all looks right to me.
Spider-Man, definitely PlayStation's best-selling franchise over the last. I think they said the original Spider-Man and Miles Morales both were like their top-selling game ever, and now this game is their fastest-selling. Probably will surpass those eventually, just with the amount of momentum it seems to have.
Someone in the chat also pointed out this is definitely going to be more of a hardcore gamer thing, but Mario Wonder was part of the voucher program too, so a lot of people probably picked it up that way.
Yeah, that's.
And I actually don't. I'd assume that they count that as a sale.
Oh, yeah. I wonder how that works. Yeah. I wonder how Nintendo reports that to Circana, because, the digital, the purchase is for this other product that doesn't necessarily qualify as Mario.
They don't report the vouchers, I'd assume. So, I'd assume it just counts as a sale at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. All right, let's see here. Spending on video game content in October fell 4% when compared to a year ago to $3.6 billion. Growth in physical console software and mobile spending was offset by declines in other areas, particularly digital premium downloads driven by the release date shift of Call of Duty. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 was the best-selling game of October, instantly becoming the 4th best-selling game of 2023 year-to-date. Spider-Man 2 also led all titles in physical software dollar sales during October. Launch month dollar sales of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 exceeded those of Spider-Man 2018's Marvel's Spider-Man by a double-digit percentage. Part of that's got to be it's $70 compared to the $60 for Spider-Man on the PS4. But also, I just think that this franchise is continuing to grow at the same time.
Yeah.
For Nintendo, Super Mario Brothers Wonder debuted as the number 2 best-selling game of October. It currently ranks as the 21st best-selling game of 2023 year-to-date. There it is. And he once again notes no digital sales there. Nintendo does not share their digital sales with MPD, with Circana. Roblox was released on PlayStation platforms during October and ranked 4th across all titles on PlayStation 5 in U.S. monthly active users, according to Circana's player engagement tracker, trailing only Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Fortnite, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2. That Modern Warfare 2, also that you have to use that client to play the Modern Warfare 3 beta, so that's going to be up there for that reason as well.
And Warzone.
And Warzone, yes, exactly. The finals from Embark Studios held an open beta on Steam during October, helping the title rank 4th overall in Steam monthly active users in the U.S. market. Only Counter-Strike 2, Baldur's Gate 3, and Cyberpunk 2077 were higher. Sean, I think this tidbit is interesting because the finals is this game that's reminded me that we're not just at a point where, hey, a new game comes out and we pay attention to it for a little bit and then it slowly just takes over this whole other part of the world. And it's like, oh my God, there's like 1 billion players for that thing. And I never even think about it. We're at a point now where it's like the finals, I'm not even thinking about this game at all. And it seems like it's doing that. And it seems like it could grow into one of those games without me ever even really giving it a chance. So just gaming's shifted so much from, oh, you could play
Yeah.
everything, to now it's like these games can pop up and become their own markets unto themselves out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, games in general are that way now. You look at something like, PUBG, where I know you were big into it, but like, I was like, what the hell's a PUBG when that game came out? And then, yeah, just blew up overnight. But there's also these games that I've never heard of that are in the background, just silently having millions of users, if not concurrently, at least, in a given month. And it's just like, I've never heard of you, but I guess you're doing well because it's in different markets and everything like that. And Jan, no, we should not PUBG.
Yes,
Never.
yes,
Absolutely.
we should, Jan. Oh, let's fucking go. Don't listen to Sean. You don't have power to stop me from
Yeah, I
playing
know.
PUBG.
Grubb's gonna like boycott any of my future TNTs not to do a PUBG one. With
Yeah,
him, so.
I literally said this to Sean last night. He's like, it's not a
You did.
priority. Fuck you, Sean. I'm doing this.
You're like hell it isn't.
Yes, exactly. Hey, everyone chats with me, and that might just be confirmation bias, but hey, what can we do about that? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Video game hardware spending fell 23% when compared to a year ago to $327 million. All current generation consoles experienced a double-digit percentage decline in dollar sales when compared to a year ago. For the PlayStation and the Xbox, that's also got to be Call of Duty related, right? Like people bought their console with Call of Duty last year. The Xbox Series ranked second in dollar sales, while Switch was number 2 in units. Year-to-date hardware spending was 6% higher when compared to the same period in 2022 at $4 billion. Sean, vamp about console hardware sales while I try to help this kid real quick.
Console hardware sales, yeah, because year-to-date hardware spending 6% higher compared to the previous period. I mean, I'd assume that's just because there's so many damn games coming out right now. Like, if people are hopping on the train for the first time. Like, if you don't already have a console, there's never been a better time to get a current gen console because there's so many of these games that are either not releasing on the previous gen or just are significantly better. Why would you not pick up, a Series S or a PS5, whatever you had your eye on for a while now?
Yeah, and it's I think it's interesting that we're seeing double-digit a decline, but I expect that to bounce back during the holidays. And in November, I think almost all these systems are going to have pretty good Black Friday deals. I think we've already seen the PS5 is going to be discounted. I think Microsoft might have confirmed Xbox might be discounted. So, yeah, people are going to get on this hardware, especially the people that are in that second and third tier of, I don't buy new consoles when I have to fight other people to buy them online. And now it's like, I'll get around to it when there's a game I want. Well, as much as Call of Duty is not great this year, there's still a lot of people who think are going to just pick up that system with that game and hopefully be able to get it at a discount because of all the deals that'll be happening for the holiday shopping.
Yep.
All right, let's see here. October 2023 accessory spending fell 2% when compared to a year ago to $147 million. The PS5 DualSense wireless controller Midnight Black was the month's best-selling accessory in consumer spending. That has been up and down. But like always, accessory spending is a good sign of how much people are getting ready to engage with their games. And it falling 2% isn't some drastic thing, but it's been up most months for this year. So the first decline there, again, probably Call of Duty related.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we got a lot more news. I'm curious to hear Sean's opinion about that new Pokemon Concierge and more. Maybe Jan can yell at us and chat about how he feels about it. We'll talk about all that right after this. And we're back, and Netflix's Pokemon Concierge gets a new trailer and December release date. This is from Tom Ivan at VGC. Netflix has announced a December 28th release date for Pokemon Concierge. Revealed in February, Pokemon Concierge is a stop-motion series produced by Dwarf Animation Studio, a French company that previously worked on Monsters at Work for Disney. I don't know what Monsters at Work is. Is that something I should know?
I have no idea either. Just I'm impressed that they worked for Disney.
Yes. The series, which will be set at a Pokemon resort, tells the story of a concierge called Haru. Is that right? Haru?
Yeah, you really emphasize it, but yeah, you nailed it.
Who works there. The show follows Haru and her Psyduck friend as they greet the mini Pokemon who visit the resort as guests. I have, I'll play the trailer on mute while we're
No, not Netflix trailer, not Netflix trailer.
no. Okay, fucking Netflix.
Yep.
Even if it's just video, of course, if it's just video. All right.
Yeah, especially if it's video.
Burn. Then I'm just gonna flash it for a second so people can see it. There you go.
That's fine.
There's
yeah.
a still
Less than 5 seconds.
of
That'll
it.
be good. Yeah, looks very pretty.
I think it looks very pretty. Sean, I don't
Yeah.
know. Tell me about your feelings about a Pokemon Netflix claymation show, I suppose.
Jeff, in any room I am in outside of maybe the World Championships, I'm always the biggest Pokemon fan in the room.
Yeah.
Pokemaniac, yeah. Coffee hasn't kicked in yet. I'm always the biggest Pokemon fan in the room. That being said, I don't give a shit about most of these projects, man.
This is the one I do kind of care about because I think it looks so cute.
I know. And I think that's like what a lot of people are like attracted to is the art style and everything. It does look very interesting, like a claymation-y sort of style, but done in 3D. I do always watch the anime shorts that Pokemon puts out because they are always so good. Like, oh god, I get the names mixed up. Path to the Peak was the TCG one, but they also did another one about Scarlet and Violet. And it's just like anytime they do these anime shorts, like I don't know if you saw like Pokemon Origins back in the day on YouTube or anything like that.
Definitely.
They're always just incredibly well produced. Like this is what the TV show should be. This is, the kind of love and care we want in the video games, yada yada. So I'm sure this will be great because that new one about Scarlet and Violet is incredible. Again, I'm sorry I can't remember the name, everybody, but look it up on the Pokemon YouTube channel, you'll find it. It's like Paldean Winds, I think is what it is, and it's just incredibly well animated. Some of the best animation I've seen all year, and so I'm sure this will follow suit in that, and I'm sure it'll be like a charming little story. It'll probably make you tear up because they love doing that. They, like having the Pokemon go through some trials and tribulations. And yeah, I think from what I have seen, because I don't think I watched the initial reveal trailer, but not this. I'm sure this will be good.
Yeah, for me, the appeal is, other than the great look of the stop motion animation, it is hey, I wanted to watch that Pokemon anime because Ash's journey came to an end. And I know I could have done like the short version, like watch the first season, then watch the last season, and probably would have been mostly fine, and maybe watch some highlights here and there.
I will say on that real quick, Jeff, I can like give you an episode number if you want at some point. There is a top 8 tournament that ends that entire series. Watching that is worth it.
Yes.
If you have any nostalgia for like Ash Ketchum or anything.
Well, so and I do want to eventually watch that, but it's like
and that's like 10. That's only like 10 episodes. It's totally doable,
right?
Which,
exactly.
Like skip intro and outro. That takes you like 3 hours. So
right.
That's nothing.
But part of it's just the mental thing of like, oh man, I'm skipping all this stuff that I would care about it, and I know that's insane because there's so much.
Trust me, you won't.
Exactly. No, I know. Yes, but. That's the appeal here. I was like, oh no, there's no stakes. I can just hop into this.
Okay, I get
and there's
that.
just a few episodes, and so the mental thing isn't there. Now I know I'm gonna skip all that stuff when I actually do get around to watching those episodes of the Pokemon Ash Ketchum anime. But here it's like, no, I can just turn this on Netflix and not have to worry about any of that. Netflix also apparently, and I can't remember if they confirmed this or if this was like a rumor that seems mostly confirmed, has a live action anime. What's up?
I just got a DM from Dan Reichert of him just holding a Red Delicious apple, and you know what that's for. But
oh no,
that was just a really funny thing to get in the middle of the show.
Go back to bed, Mike. Go back to bed. It's all good.
Anyways, what were you saying about a live action?
Yeah,
anime?
and I think Netflix is supposedly working on a live action Pokemon show with the Pokemon company. Do you think that's a company that could pull that off?
Which one?
Netflix. You think Netflix, obviously they work with production companies.
Oh, yeah. All of their live action stuff has been flawless. Everyone loves it.
There's never been live action anime was really good, of course.
Death Note, I think, was them too, and everybody loved that.
How about Death Note?
No, stay the hell away from, man. Get your Pokemon out.
If it's a live action remake of the Ash Ketchum story, yes, don't do that. But if it's like this, where it's like, hey, it's its own thing, that could work, right?
Well, what they should have done is like they did the animated. I mentioned Paths to the Peak was a TCG show, and that was cute and everything. It was very like I would say like Disney Channel are the vibes, sort of like the comedy and everything like that. What that could have been like a live action drama of like a kid trying to get better at the game or something like that, or like a kid trying to go to the World Championships for the video game. If they do that, that could be good. But yeah, I don't know. Just don't mix my Pokemon with your live action, please.
I hope if it's more like this instead of trying to do what they've done with all their other anime live action adaptations. That would be bad.
Or like even I wasn't a huge fan of Detective Pikachu, so like even that I wouldn't be.
Yeah, the best parts about
of.
the Detective Pikachu is the real world, just seeing Pokemon do stuff in that world, and then anytime it was trying to be a story, it was pretty bad.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know if they could capture that magic and then have a decent story or decent characters, I would probably be into it. All right, there's a Wonder Woman job listing out there, and it's just the game may be a live service game. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. A new job listing for the upcoming Wonder Woman game suggests it may have a live service element, as spotted by WCCF Tech. The new job ad is for lead software engineer gameplay at Monolith Productions and makes it clear that the role will involve working on the Wonder Woman game. Join the Wonder Woman team and help bring an iconic DC superhero to life, the listing reads. While the job requirements list the typical experience expected from an applicant looking to work on a AAA game, one of the qualities in the nice to have section refers to live services. Specifically, the listing says applicants may have the edge if they have experience helping maintain a live service software product or game. Although this doesn't conclusively confirm that Wonder Woman will have a live service component, were it to do so, it wouldn't be a great surprise. After all, it would line up with the comments made last week by Warner Brothers Discovery CEO and brain genius David Zaslav, who said the company was focused on turning its biggest gaming franchises into live service games. Yes, let's reiterate, this is not conclusive evidence of anything.
No.
People have needs for all kinds of skills for a whole bunch of reasons, and having someone who's good at maintaining live service products may help with some other DLC thing that they're thinking about, or very light touch live service stuff, which can happen in all kinds of games. But this is
not
Warner
a great
Brothers.
sign.
Yes, exactly. And we do know Warner Brothers has this in mind. David Zaslav did make a big deal about this in that earnings call. And despite being the company that put out Hogwarts Legacy and that being a great success without really any live service stuff in there, they're also the company making Suicide Squad, and that has leaned hard into live service. And Wonder Woman would have gotten the green light in that zone where live service was the obvious thing to do in the eyes of many of these executives. Yeah. So what do you think the chances are that this is a game with enough live service that we refer to it as a live service game?
I'm curious because I could see it going the route of like Mortal Kombat, also WB games. So like if for whatever reason there's like a battle pass of challenges in something where it doesn't really fit, like even in single player content, because MK obviously you can play online or thing, but there's also single player towers and stuff of challenges and things you can do. I wouldn't be surprised if they like shoehorn that in some way, like, hey, go over to the challenge mode and, beat it on hard mode and you'll get like something for it. Like, I don't know. Like you said, it's not conclusive of anything, just a job listing, and people read into job listings way too much all the time. Like, as we know, especially from like Nintendo stuff and whatnot, like with the retro and everything, like people need to calm down, but because it's WB, I wouldn't be surprised if, it's probably still just a single player, Batman style game. But yeah, I don't think they're going the route of Suicide Squad. But if they do shove in some live service element, wouldn't shock me.
My Windows cloud service thing just popped up with look back at your memories for November 15th. And it's a screenshot of 50 Cent Blood on the Sand running on my Steam Deck from last year.
Of course it is.
The best kinds of memories. Truly a beautiful thing. We'll see with Wonder Woman. I think when we don't have good details about a lot of these games, it's easy to fill in fill in those gaps with your anxieties about where gaming is heading in general. Yeah. I think in this case, it's fair to expect that. I just how would that even make sense? And really, whenever we sort of fantasy book these things, it's always like, well, Wonder Woman from Warner Brothers, just make that an Arkham Knight kind of game. Make it an Arkham Asylum game just with Wonder Woman. And doesn't that make perfect sense? And I think if you're someone who likes to make games and play games, yes, that makes sense. If you're someone who likes to make money from games, In their opinion, having live service and that infinite ceiling is always going to make more sense.
And $10 fatalities and everything.
Well, you can imagine a bunch of different costumes for Wonder Woman. Oh, that's a character that's been around for decades. Here's her 1960s
costumes on Wonder Woman.
Right. And it's like, well, are they going to sell those costumes? Will they be in battle passes? What does that even look like for a game like this? We have no idea. We'll have to find out. Yeah. What is like the best game that is primarily single player that you would still consider live service? And I mean like traditional big budget single player narrative game. Because for me, it's got to be Hitman. Because Hitman had the like constant updates and the elusive targets, and now they have that the contracts mode or whatever it's called. It's a game you can just play forever, and they have endless content for it.
I mean, nowadays Pokemon basically is. I guess that would probably be my answer. Like, there is a heavy multiplayer component of Pokemon, obviously, but like they constantly will. I get a news update on my the Switch news feed on the home screen. I'll just be like, "Hey, you can go do Terra Raid battle for a Garchomp now for all weekend." There's stuff like that. But Hitman is probably like, the best one of those. Whereas it's entirely. I'm trying to think. Have they put multiplayer in the new Hitman games?
They had co-op multiplayer or side by side Ghost multiplayer in Hitman 2, and I don't. But
primarily, like you said, a single player game, and it does it very well because you can just be like, "Here's the new map. Here's the new celebrity to assassinate," or whatever. Exactly. They had they've had some crazy celebrities in there. Like, trying to think, what was the big one? In 3.
They can't be. Was it Nick Nolte or?
I was thinking wacky actor
Sean Bean. Yeah,
Sean Bean too, but there's someone else I can't remember.
Gary Busey. Thank you.
Yes,
I always mix up my Nick Nolte's and my Gary Buseys. I mean, who doesn't?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Right next to each other.
Yeah. Insane actors that were in a million movies in the 80s and 90s. To be fair, that's both of those guys. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is the longest game in the series. This is from Johan Wallstrom at Game Reactor. When the developers describe the game's length as monster class, you know it's going to take a lot of hours. That's exactly what Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth needs, according to Ryogagotoku studio boss Masayoshi Yokoyama. He describes it as a monster class game longer than anything we've made so far, and that it's not something that can be played through in 1 or 2 all-nighters. He says this in an interview with Japanese outlet Game Watch, translated by Automaton. He also sees challenges with this. This means that a lot of people are going to hesitate to play the game or will end up having to wait with it on their shelves. I found the possibility of that kind of outcome sad, so I thought we have to get everyone hyped up enough to play it. The solution, and especially the first sentence, is something I did not expect to read. And again, this is from the author of the story. We have to get people to play the game in about a week or a month, even at the cost of their health, which is why it's our duty as creators to generate enough to be excited about. Okay, yeah, sure. This just feels like hype man hyping up his stuff a little bit, but kind of a wild thing to say.
Grubb, what the fuck are they thinking? What the fuck are they thinking? Why the fuck is Sega releasing 2 80-hour RPGs 7 days apart and charging full price for them, already marketing them against each other? What the fuck is going on?
Well, Sega's good at business.
Just get to do whatever they want.
It's the Titanfall 2 strategy.
Yeah.
It works so well for Titanfall 2. What are you talking about?
They are literally doing this week as well, because Like a Dragon Gaiden came out last week, and Persona 5 Tactica is coming out in 2 days.
Yep.
What the fuck is going on over there? How does this work?
It doesn't work, and that's the brilliance about Sega, is that they never expect things to actually work, so when it blows up in their faces, they're like, that all went according to plan. Listen, I'm gonna play a little bit of Tactica. I'll see if it jives with me. But if I was going to play one of these 3 games, I'd be like, oh yeah, give me that one that is like 5 to 10 hours long. That's a side story. Even if I'm going to be a little lost, that sounds better than having to play this huge thing.
But also to get to the headlining topic here, of course, it's the longest game in the series, because up to this point, Yakuza was beat 'em ups, and then now we had an RPG recently, and so of course that made it longer.
And they keep adding like
me. The follow up is it's even more packed to the gills with stuff.
And with these Like a Dragon games, it seems like they come up with new mini games, and they don't like replace the old mini games. They keep all of those, and they just keep adding more and more and more, and having like more missions to do with those various mini games. So I bet there's going to be a ton of content in there, and at the same time, I bet you'll be able to get through like the main story relatively quickly still. Not, obviously, maybe not 2 sittings, but I don't think that's going to be like
we'll see.
Well,
yeah, the last game was about 50 hours long if you rewind-ish.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Stories are long nowadays.
Yeah,
but I can see
I'll be
reviewing both of these, so that will be fucking miserable. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your show.
Shall see you.
Thank you, Lexi. Appreciate it. They're very helpful. Like I said, you're going to hear from experts. All right. Do you think developers get a benefit when they say, oh, this is the biggest one ever? That probably still has some effect on sales, some positive effect, right?
As long as people aren't like completely tired of it, yeah. Like I think if Persona 6 gets announced and they're like, and it's even longer, a lot of us will be like, bro, 120 hours wasn't any more than that. But a lot of people who are really into Persona, also the flip side of me, I'm gonna go, yeah, give me more Persona. Right. Hell yeah. So yeah. I think that's probably where they're at right now with Yakuza.
I think so. If Assassin's Creed came out and said our next one's the biggest one ever, I think everybody would be like, dude, bro, chill, please. We don't need
we've
that
had
from
enough
you.
of that. That's okay. Yes.
Digital Bros is cutting 30% of its jobs. This is from Ben Leon at Game Reactor. It doesn't feel like a day can go by without us giving a report on job cuts and layoffs in the games industry. And unfortunately, despite reporting on the Amazon game layoffs yesterday, now we have layoffs from Digital Bros to report on as well. Digital Bros develops, publishes, and distributes games such as Puzzle Quest 3, Gunfire Reborn, and Miasma Chronicles. The Digital Bros group has announced that as part of a cost-cutting effort, the publisher is set to reduce its workforce by 30%, which will be the equivalent of around 130 employees, with the predominant portion concentrated within the studios themselves. The company has stated that it doesn't expect these cost-cutting measures to have a significant impact on its results for 2024 fiscal year. It's the same story as always, Sean. These publishers aren't necessarily doing that much worse. They are just in a more precarious position when it comes to figuring out how the money is going to flow in, and it's always been difficult to predict that, but now it's difficult and it's expensive to get capital, and that's a combination for these companies being very hesitant and scared. And they're like, well, what's the answer here? Let's cut jobs to increase our buffer between how much money we're making and how much we expect to make in the future. It's, as always, shitty that it's always just the people responsible for making all these good products that are going to get hurt. And in this case, it's the studios, the people working on some of these games. Although Digital Bros works a lot with external studios, like, we'll publish it for you on all these different platforms. So I wonder exactly how that breaks down, but they did not give that information. This is going to continue like this for some time, right? These layoffs? Almost
assuredly. Yeah, it's just companies got too big. They sought their infinite growth or whatever like that. That's not necessarily what's happening here, but all these companies just expanded and then realized, oh, wait, we can't back up this expansion. So what do? Labor is the easiest thing to cut because it's, a lot of money that we can save there. So they just cut people. And you and I had a very long conversation about this on a different podcast recently, but it's always sucks because you upend people's lives. And even if it's, I'll be honest, I've never heard of Digital Bros before. So I have heard of the games that were mentioned here in the article.
Right.
But it doesn't matter. Like, you are messing with people's livelihoods, especially, again, going into the holiday season. That's the biggest dick move you can possibly do. Someone is saying, yep, screw your Christmas bonus, screw your, like any paid time that you might have had booked or anything like that. Like anything like this that might just straight up get cut. Like, yeah, kids don't get presents and crap like that. Like, it sucks. What more can we say on at this point, basically, other than this all sucks?
Right. And Lexi points out Digital Brothers is mostly 505. It's 505's parent company. So
okay, got it.
Right. And 505 does exactly what I said, where it's like they usually partner with studios that are looking to publish their game from, like, they put it out themselves on Steam, but you want to put it out on consoles, we'll help you with that. We'll publish Control for you, Remedy, that sort of thing. I think they are working more closely with Remedy on Control 2, right? I think that might be the case, but we'll see how that plays out. Take-Two boss says games should be priced according to how much time you get out of them. This is from Marcus Persson at Game Reactor. Entertainment should cost a lot of money, according to Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick, who during a meeting with investors shared his views on the industry and where it might be heading in the near future. He mentioned how a lot of it is about the value customers feel they are getting out of a product, and that in the future, players should be charged by the hour. Zelnick said, in terms of pricing for any entertainment property, basically the algorithm is the value of the expected entertainment usage, which is to say that, man, how can you talk about stuff like this? Which is to say that the per hour value times the number of expected hours plus the terminal value that's perceived by the customer if ownership of that title is actually owned, not, say, rented or subscribed to. And you'll see that that bears out in every kind of entertainment vehicle. By that standard, our frontline prices are still very, very low because we offer many hours of engagement. That doesn't necessarily mean that the industry has pricing power or wants to have that pricing power. However, there is a great deal of value offered. To me, this really just sounds like someone asking about the high price of games and how that fits into how people are feeling overall about high prices, and Strauss-Zelnick saying, listen, we could be charging a lot more. Look how many hours people are getting on Grand Theft Auto. And I don't really think his strategy here is like, we're going to charge you $1 per hour for that you play Grand Theft Auto. But the reason that that's not his argument is because that would be crazy, right?
Yeah, and God, this reeks of, be lucky we're not charging you more.
Yes, that's exactly what this sounds like.
Yeah, which just... God, you're dumb. You are a very dumb man, Strauss-Zelnick. I just say that. Like, this. No, people want shorter games. They don't want there's so many things we could talk about here, but just keep it short. You know, this ties into the bloat issue we were just talking about, and it also comes into games are expensive as is. This is an expensive hobby on the whole, and just being, in that mentality of, it could be more. We could find other ways to charge you. Ugh. Another thing that just sucks here and it's coming down from the top.
Right. And Strauss-Zelnick should say the unspoken stuff here, which is like gaming, unlike a lot of these other pieces of media and these other mediums, is that games have found a lot of other ways to charge money that movies and music haven't been able to. Mm-hmm. You can buy music, you can subscribe to music services. You could buy movies, you could subscribe to movie services. There is no, post-release recurrent consumer spending, as Strauss-Zelnick likes to say about microtransactions. And, this is Take-Two. This is Rockstar. Right now, basically the kings of microtransactions and recurrent consumer spending. You could charge by the hour, but you're not going to do that because you make a lot more money by having all these people come in at a relatively low price, I suppose, and then getting them to spend all this money on all this extra stuff, and that's way more valuable to you. So this is you're saying this, but we know it's dishonest because you would never do it because it would conflict with your other way of making that real money that you've been making from Grand Theft Auto for the last 10 years.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the kicker here. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think this has changed. It just feels like it's changed because it's been given away so many times at this point. You still got to pay for GTA 5 to play GTA Online, which is a lot of time they'll just get people coming in at $10 sales or whatever like that.
That adds up.
People coming in at $50 or $60 as well still, because they just I just want to play a new GTA. I'll just pay whatever, Walmart has on the shelf for. And boy, this is greedy. This is all so greedy.
I'm like, if I got charged to play games by the hour, first of all, I would quit this hobby because that'd be way too stressful for me.
Yes.
But I'm thinking, man, Dan sat through an hour of just loading times for Sonic 06 because that video they just got
for Sonic's campaign, by the way.
Oh, that was just Sonic's campaign?
That was just Sonic's campaign, yeah.
Holy fucking shit. I did not know that. That's insane. It was 56 minutes of loading times.
Shout out to Joyous for editing together that video. It was just the loading times in Sonic's campaign. It was 1 hour.
Oh boy, imagine I have to pay for that hour of loading times. That just shows how insane this is and would never, ever happen.
Exactly.
All right, CD Projekt is working on a mod editor for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This is from Tom Ivan at VGC. CD Projekt has announced that it's working on an official mod editor for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The mod editor, which is in development for the PC version game only, is expected to launch next year. We're thrilled to announce that we're working on a mod editor for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, CD Projekt Red said. It will allow you to create your own experiences in the game by making something completely new or editing existing quests and content. We're planning on releasing it for free in 2024. Sean, this used to be a pretty big thing with classic CRPGs where the modding tools would come out and people would just make their own campaigns. And I remember there was a job listing for someone working on like one of these RPGs that was in the lineage of like the original Baldur's Gate or Icewind Dale. And they're like, hey, we're making modern games on Xbox 360 or whatever, but go back to this tool for, I think it was Baldur's Gate, and create a campaign in there. And that is your resume. Like that is going to be what we actually judge who we're going to hire on. And it's like, oh, that's cool. And I think developers creating a space for more of that kind of creativity to happen and for people to tell their own stories in these games is a great way to keep something that's already had some of the longest legs in gaming history with The Witcher 3 and ensure that this game's going to be around for a very long time, to the point where even like Witcher 4 might come along and not necessarily replace this game in the way like people still play Melee, right?
Right. And like you addressed on that I want to talk about, where just putting together a game like as a mod or like, something like that can be a great resume builder.
Yes.
I forget where it came from, but like someone in the industry was like, yeah, dude, we don't care where you went to school. Like, show us your Skyrim mod, you know, like, and that will be impressive to us. We will like, get you in the industry based on that. We will like bring you in for an interview based on the fact that, okay, you can code, you can make this thing. Like we know that you have the skills there. Cool. This is a real world experience that we value over anything else. So yeah. But on the top topic, this is interesting because I know, I don't know when this would have happened, but I at least know that when I download Cyberpunk again for Phantom Liberty, one of the options was to download the mod, what red tools, I think it was, for like, a red engine tool editor, a mod creation helper. I'm trying to think of like what the right terminology would be, because you can make mods for a game like just nothing.
Yes.
But yeah, they released in some capacity just tools that like help you with more in-depth mods. And so since I believe Witcher 3 also runs on Red Engine, I don't think that was just it wasn't just made for Cyberpunk. So I'd assume that this would be like backporting it or whatever.
Right. It sounds like one of those things that they've kind of had floating around in the background, and I think they did intend to have released these tools a very long time ago. And so getting it ready for Cyberpunk probably helped them get it to a place where it's like, okay, now that we've done that work, let's take it back to Witcher 3.
It's just a helper. You don't need this because obviously there are mods for Witcher 3. Yeah.
Exactly. This is going to make it easier. Yes, more democratized for people to like learn in this space. You
probably already download certain mods for this game and everything like that. I assume.
You could. Who could say? Who could say?
That RE4 mod was not what I thought it was going to be, by the way, Jeff. I thought
what would you think it was going to be? You're even more perverted?
I know you, and I didn't think it was going to be.
Listen, I looked for that one. I couldn't find it. So that's the only reason.
Sure.
God, I was gonna say something about this topic, but oh well, we'll move on here to the final story. Machine Gun Kelly wants to play Link in the Zelda movie. I know this is your big Machine Gun Kelly fan, TurboShawn. It's from Eddie McHugh at GameSpot. Nintendo and Sony have teamed up to produce a Legend of Zelda live-action movie, and one of the biggest questions about the movie is who will play Link and Zelda. We still don't know, but now Machine Gun Kelly, MGK himself, has put his name into the mix for Link. Obviously, these are
this makes perfect sense, because then Megan Fox is the perfect Zelda. We know how good she is with video game stuff.
You're right. Hey,
this works out.
Music to my ears. I cannot wait. You know how much I loved her in Mortal Kombat 1.
Go watch Arma Grubb and everybody.
It was a good time. I keep coming back to like who would be good for these characters, and but Sean, I think I'm at a point where like I have no idea. I have zero idea about what would actually make for a good Link or even a Zelda, but especially Link. Link's a really tough nut to crack. I'll say that probably no matter what, they're going to announce someone, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's going to work. And I'm always wrong about that. I remember like a lot of the MCU casting in the early days. I was like, man, you're gonna get Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four movie for Captain America? Good luck with that. That's going to fucking suck. And then, of course, I think he was really great. So
Robert Downey Jr., when's the last time he was in a movie?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mickey Rourke, really? And then, okay. Well, Iron Man 2's not great, but Mickey Rourke was great, isn't it?
So it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie.
I'm fine with it. Yeah. So it's like, we're not going to really know until we see it. And I suppose the same was true with like Chris Pratt as Mario in the movie, where it's like, I can predict that this is probably not going to ruin the experience. And that's exactly what happened. But still, I didn't truly believe that until I saw it myself. This is like make or break for this movie, though, right? They got to get Link right.
Oh yeah, at the very least, Link needs to be, even if everyone else is miscast. Like you need that poster to be someone where people look at and they, because like Zelda, not Nintendo's highest selling franchise, even though it's doing a lot better with these new iterations.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
Yeah. People know who Link is. You know, people play Smash. They know Nintendo stuff. They see the branding and everything.
Zelda tattoos, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, man, you go to Comic-Con, you can just like, throw a pebble and hit someone with a Triforce tattoo, you know, like people know what to look for in a Link. And so, yeah, you're right. That is the most important thing to get out of this. It doesn't help that I just don't care about this project. Like, this is almost assuredly going to be mediocre. Yes, Jan.
Wait. Galaxy brain thinking. Sony, Nintendo, get ready to cut the check.
Mm-hmm.
Person they need to cast as Link is James Gerald Hicks. Who is this gentleman, you ask?
Who's this gentleman?
Mm-hmm. He plays Dane. Who's Dane?
Who's Dane?
The Quiet Man.
Oh my god.
Link barely says anything. Dane already has experience.
You're broken. Jan, you're broken. All right.
Okay, hang on though. This is genius. I like this thinking. I like where he's at here.
Oh my god.
Cut the check.
Actually, this is not bad.
Good work.
Look at this guy. This is not bad. All right. We'll see if that happens. In the meantime, though, we have a poll question from Monday. Let's get to that. Now that reviews are out, how do you feel about the PlayStation Portal? 4% say they're getting one. 5% say I'm probably getting one. 50% say I'm probably not getting one. And 76% say just straight up not getting one. I voted for I'm getting one because I am going to try to track one down. We'll see.
And you're too lazy to just set up remote play on something else, which is all this thing does, Jeff.
Yes, exactly. Well, okay, here's the thing. I've had bad experiences with my Razer Kishis breaking. I don't necessarily like playing on phones anyhow, even though I do have phones sitting around that would probably be fine and I can kind of permanently keep it on. I don't like my stuff feeling even a little bit wobbly. That was a big problem with like the early.
You do break stuff a lot.
I break stuff a lot. I think but my hair gets to this stuff. I don't know what it is, but my stuff breaks a lot. And like the early days of the Switch, when the Joy-Cons would feel like they could just come off without pressing the button, it made that system so much more uncomfortable to use for me. And I don't like that overall thing. I want sturdiness in the thing that I'm holding.
You have a Roger ally just sitting around that you hate. You could just dedicate that to remote play instead.
I did do that on there. Maybe the reality is that actually the Wi-Fi experience isn't as fun to stream over as I would hope.
I'm also going to say, Jeff, if you had any trouble setting it up on your network with these existing devices, the Portal probably isn't going to work either.
It's probably not going to help. You're probably
it's not going to help. I'm slowly trying to talk you off the ledge, dude. No, he's all right.
Let's fucking
Whatever.
go.
You're crazy. It's okay. I'm used to it.
That's right. Yes, you've had to deal with it for a long time now. All right, we'll have a new poll question here in a second. Before we do that, though, let's see here. Sean, why don't you tell people where they could find you and what you have going on, all that good stuff.
Sure, you can get me on twitter.com still as TurboShawn _ and Blue Sky, Twitch, everywhere else as TurboShawn, SHAWN. You want to check out what I'm up to. First of all, Game Mess Jeopardy is the monthly trivia show that I host on YouTube with this guy, with Mike Minotti, and a friend of ours from the industry every month. Now, I'm bringing it up not just to plug our stuff, but because it's relevant to this audience. Our most recent episode was with Bailey Myers, who I'm sure people are aware of around here. We had a fun time hanging out with Bailey, as we always do. Yeah, and that is exclusive to patrons right now, but will be free for everyone at the end of the month. So if you just want to wait a couple of weeks, that's totally cool too. Just search for Game Mess Jeopardy on YouTube. You'll find it. But yeah, outside of that, Giant Bomb stuff. I'm right here doing social media, mostly like the TikToks and YouTube shorts and all that stuff. You see a TikTok you like, that was me. And then doing editing and post-production stuff, helping out Jan a little bit nowadays, taking some smaller stuff off his plate. Because that man works too damn hard, Jeff.
Too much.
By the way, I didn't see this. I just saw it because I was getting caught up on Twitter the other day. Shout outs to Jan on 6 years at Giant Bomb. Can we get some claps in the live chat for Jan?
Woo.
Holding everything together around here. Later in the week, I will be on other stuff around here too. We got tomorrow. Tomorrow, we got Unprofessional Fridays on a Thursday.
That's right.
Where we are doing some Call of Duty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, all Nickies edition. I'm so excited for this, Jeff. I've been trying to get this off the ground for a while now.
I'm very excited to partake.
Me, you, Jeff Bakalar, and our own Nikki Grayson. We're going to be playing some Call of Duty. We're going to hop into Warzone. And then we're going to play some MW3 multiplayer afterwards. But the kicker is the entire time we will be, of course, Nicki Minaj's running around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun. Check that out tomorrow, Thursday, on Giant Bomb. And then on Friday, we have Thursday Night Throwdown on a Friday. This is all because of scheduling, everybody. Where we're going to check out the new Mario Kart DLC tracks.
Yeah, so get Mario Kart downloaded and come play with us. It'll be good stuff.
You do not need the DLC to play on the new tracks, by the way. So like, if you just have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on your Switch, that's cool. We'll set up a tournament. You'll get the code day of when you tune into the stream. So yeah, just make sure to tune in live and you'll be able to play Mario Kart with us. It'll be a fun time.
Excellent. All right. Let's see. New poll question. Should a game cost more if it has more content? Yes or no? I'm very curious to see what video gamers have to say about this topic.
Mm-hmm.
I guess suppose if it's like, if it's like a 1 hour game, it can only cost $1. It's like, no, I don't like that either. I want to be able to pay more for game. Like A Short Hike is a game I played so many times. I like that game so much. It does not need to cost less because it's like such this concise experience.
I'm so much more willing to pay like $15 for like a few hour experience from a smaller studio than like $60 or $70 for a bloated ass game from a major studio at this point.
Yep. All right. We will talk about that on Game Mess Mornings here on Giant Bomb tomorrow. Sean already gave you the rundown of what's happening here on Giant Bomb. So I guess what I'm going to say now is, Sean, thank you so much for spending today talking with me about video games. I really appreciate it.
Hey, it's always good to be on the show, man. Thanks for having me back.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye. All right. Still